Well, the quarterback shouldn't see the pass rush. He should be looking down the field. So, I think whether you look at the stats or watch the game, I feel like they played a great game against us. They had a lot of guys probably that had individual great efforts, but as a team, I thought they played fast. They ran to the football, and they made the tackles when they got there, and that's the big thing that showed up to me is they got there and they made the tackles. Well, you've been in so many games where you come out. I think a couple of our games already this year we came out fast, and but you've been in so many games in the past also where it takes a few series or it takes a quarter, and then at some point you get that momentum going. So it can happen so many different times. To me, it's the problem more is the overall. When you look at the number of plays in our drives, and there weren't very many over 3. That's an issue, and one of them scored that was less than 3. But when you just look at it as a whole and you step back, I mean, you can't go 3 and out that many times and expect to score enough points to win. Yeah, they just weren't together, and there's no faster, easier way to throw an interception than for the QB and receiver not to be together. And we're stressing for them. We're stressing for them to. We got to trust in our passing game that everyone's going to be where they're supposed to be, and that the ball's going to be in that same spot. And if you do that, then you can throw it on time. Then you can throw the ball on rhythm before the rush gets to you, and you can throw it before the DBs know where the receiver's going. And when they're off, you saw what happens. I won't signal out who it was, but yeah, we're just off, and can't have it happen. We work hard not to let that happen. Well, I think we said it from the beginning that we had a rotation, and in some of the games, the way things go, sometimes it's by personnel group or what we're doing. Keith has gotten more carries, and I think when you're winning games, you can always look back and say, oh, well, we ran it more than we threw it, or we ran these kind of runs, but sometimes it's dictated by the game. And I couldn't tell you the numbers, but I think we stood pretty well by what we thought our rotation would be going in. I expected a question something like that. Just like we list them on the depth chart is exactly right. It's Ross and Mike are battling for that.
So there wasn't any separation in practice this week or significant?
Well, if there's a week where one outperforms the other, then that guy should go in the game first. It's not always easy, Doug, to answer that from the sideline, but we don't want them back there holding the football. And if they covered us up, then sometimes that will happen. If he isn't going to the right spot, then sometimes that will happen. But if he's back there holding the ball, then I'm not happy. And that's what happens. I mean, that's how the quarterback's part in protecting himself is getting the ball off on time. Well, I think in the drive that moved the ball in the first half, right? We had one. We called some down the field things, and he threw some checkdowns. I think Keith got a couple catches, Keith Payne, in that drive. And sometimes it just takes some time to get your guys up the field. Some of it might be based on what they were calling. I think maybe at some times they brought some pressure that leaves the receivers one-on-one. I know in the long touchdown they did blitz, which left the receivers, in a different kind of coverage than on some of the downs where they dropped everybody out. So sometimes it's dictated by what they do. I think when you go through the rhythm of a game, sometimes a guy gets into more rhythm or less, and it's hard, Doug, for me to say exactly till I see it. There might be some early in the game where it could have been like that, or sometimes you don't get those opportunities.